Welcome back to A Few True Things. In my last video, I talked about the genetic fallacy. That's when you accept or reject a claim just because of where it came from, rather than looking at the actual evidence. Today, I want to add some nuance to what I said last time, because in the real world, we don't always have time or even the ability to personally evaluate all the evidence for every claim. So what are we to do when one side says this and the other side says that? If you choose a side simply because of who said it, you're probably committing the genetic fallacy. You know, on this channel, I talk frequently about evaluating evidence. I have it on my cup here. Evidence matters. But you know, it's not always realistic to sift through mountains of studies and data and technical arguments yourself. So how do you avoid the genetic fallacy and still make a responsible judgment? The key isn't to judge by who is speaking, but by how they handle evidence. Ask questions like, do they cite data you can check? Do they explain their reasoning clearly? Do they correct themselves when new information comes along? And do they use methods that reduce bias like peer review or transparent standards? For whatever topic you're discussing, if one side is composed of true experts who specialize in the exact area under discussion, and the other side is mainly people really outside of their area of expertise, that's a strong indicator of which arguments are going to be more reliable. Similarly, if one side has decades of peer-reviewed research supporting their position, and the other side only has a few outlier studies that contradict the expert consensus, that's a warning sign. When you focus on process and the quality of expertise, you're not dismissing people because of who they are. You're evaluating whether their approach to evidence is reliable. So, what if both sides accuse each other of mishandling the facts? In the real world, that happens a lot. And this is where expertise becomes important. Now, experts aren't automatically right, but they use methods designed to test claims, expose errors, and correct themselves over time. People outside the field might be sincere, but if they're not using those same tools, systematic testing, peer review, replication, their claims just aren't on the same footing. So it's not about trusting experts because they're experts. It's about recognizing that their methods for handling evidence are more rigorous and accountable. Some philosophers talk about something called epistemic responsibility. That's the responsibility we all have to form our beliefs carefully and honestly. Now, if you don't have time to sort through the details, the responsible move isn't to blindly choose a side, but sometimes to remain a bit tentative or to suspend judgment. Philosophers also point out that evidence is often filtered through our worldviews. That means part of critical thinking is being humble enough to admit our own biases and willing to follow the evidence even when it challenges what we prefer to believe. So the next time you hear, well, both sides disagree, so I'm not sure what to do, I'll just pick one. Pause and ask, which side is showing its work? Which side is willing to be corrected? Which side is actually using methods built to handle evidence well? Critical thinking doesn't mean you have to be an expert in everything. It means learning to recognize when a source treats evidence responsibly and when it doesn't. It also means approaching truth with humility and responsibility. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, Hit like and subscribe for more on building sharp, thoughtful reasoning skills. And remember, always ask good questions.